Hi, I'm Shelley Wilson. I am a multi-genre author of over 20 books and a writing mentor. Welcome to the Campervan Writer Show. When I found out that my publisher was closing down after 9 years, and I had a little bit of a spiral, a little bit of a panic, a little bit of a, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? I thought about the best ways to move forward. And what I chose to do was start my own imprint and republish my back catalogue and bring them out under my own publishing house. Now, when I told my lovely friend that I was starting my own imprint, she had no idea what I was talking about, and she had to Google it because the only imprint she knew was from Twilight. So no werewolves were involved in this particular project, and it kind of got me realising that there are so many publishing terms and writing terms that I take for granted because I've been writing for 11 plus years, but that if you're actually new to the writing world, how are you supposed to know? And I think about it in the business world as well. So I've only really recently understood what B2B is and B2C, where it's business to business and business to consumer. Nearly forgot myself. CRM, you know, the systems that you put everything on. My daughter made me laugh once because she thought that the abbreviation for LinkedIn, which is LI, was Love Island, and she just assumed that everyone was watching Love Island when they were actually referring to LinkedIn. So unless we're told what all these abbreviations and jargon are, how on earth are we supposed to know? So I wanted to dedicate one episode for getting as many of them out of the way as we can and helping you understand what they all are. And if you've got any more, please feel free to drop them into the comments because there are so many I know that I'm not going to get them all into one episode. But let's start at the beginning, shall we? So a WIP. What's a WIP? It's a work in progress, WIP. So you might see that on social media posts from authors who are talking about their current project and they're going, I'm working on my WIP at the moment and this is how it's going. So that's it, your work in progress. Whenever I send information over to my editor, I will abbreviate manuscript for MS. So you might also see that in some posts or articles and things where someone's referring to an MS, that's their manuscript. A POV, you've probably come across this, but if not, it just means point of view. So that'll be your character's point of view. Is it first person? Is it third person? Is it dual aspect? Is it his? Is it hers? All of those kind of things. So sometimes book bloggers or reviewers might add a sentence saying it's from her POV. And I really liked how it laid out, so that's what that means. When we think about our genres, and I know I spoke about genres in a previous episode, a genre is just a category. We've got things like YA, which is young adult. We've got NA, which is new adult. MG, which is middle grade, so you're looking at about 9 to 11, up to 13, maybe around that area. You've also got things like SFF, which is science fiction fantasy. So sometimes the actual genres that you're interested in have their own abbreviations as well. And it's always good to learn what they are, especially if you want to write in that particular genre. You might have come across KDP. So if you are an indie author, which is another one for independent author, you will have heard that Amazon's self-publishing platform is called Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP. So that's where that will come up. You might have also heard POD, which is print on demand, and that's how Amazon and the likes of Ingram Spark work. So you will publish to KDP, and then when someone orders your book and pays for it, it's printed on demand and sent out to them. So that's how POD works. If you're working with an editor, you might see R&R, which is revisit and resubmit. So that'll be notes in the margin, do a bit of a jig and send it back. Book bloggers tend to work with ARCs, and that is an advanced reader copy. So they are often sent out either by the author in a kind of a PDF format, if you like, or by a traditional publishing house. If they've got an ARC copy, they'll send out. And it's just to get initial feedback from early readers, which would be also known as beta readers or beta readers, depending on how you say it. Books tend to be sent out to book bloggers, to early reviewers, to libraries maybe, all kinds of things. But if you see normally it'll be on a blog post or maybe even in a book review where you'll say it says I received an ARC copy. That's what it means. Book bloggers also like to use TBR, which is their to be read pile, and if they're anything like me, it's big. If you're a romance writer, you will know that HEA is happily ever after. Now, there's other things that you need to think about from a writing point of view if you're putting together a book that you might come across these phrases. So first is front and back matter. So they're things like your dedication, your copyright page, about the author, acknowledgements. That's what you put at the front and the back of the book, but it's referred to as front and back matter. You'll also hear the term blurb. So when you turn a book over, if you're in a shop and you turn it over, the description on the back is often referred to as a book blurb. That can often be found as well if you're looking on Amazon or Waterstones or Barnes & Noble online. You'll see that same description as well there. So that blurb is a sales tool really as well, because it's the hook that you're trying to get the reader's attention with. And hook is another one that you need to learn, because we all know that hook is what turns potentials into avid readers. You might have come across, if you're writing a book, a 3-act structure. So that's just a process of breaking down your outline and how you would piece your book together. Save the Cat is a fantastic resource. Save the Cat writes a novel. It's just brilliant. I use it all the time. Mine is totally like falling apart at the seams because I use it so often. But 3-act structure is another phrase that you might come across. Story beats as well. So the Save the Cat novel uses story beats, and it's fabulous. Once you read the book you will understand, but the story works to different beats, and that's what they're referring to in that instance. Other phrases you might come across are pseudonym, which is when an author uses a name that's not their normal given birth name. You might also come across street team, which is when you have a group of cheerleaders who will read your ARC book. They will do social media posts on your behalf. They might review your book when it's on a launch date. They generally are behind you 100%. And these can be people you know. It might be your friends, it might be your family, it might be just your book club. But that having a street team can be a really, really savvy way of doing your marketing as well. So that's another term that you might come across. Words like synopsis, you'll come across if you want to submit your manuscript to a traditional publisher. They'll want a cover letter and they'll want a synopsis. And that is you condensing your entire novel. Let's say you've written 90,000 words. You condense all of that into a synopsis that might be 3 A4 sides, but that gives everything, all the beginning, the middle, the end, the character arcs, everything. It's a document that a publisher would need to be able to find out if they want to sign you, and also how to market you as well. You might hear the phrase B format, and that is the popular book size that we have here in the UK. So a lot of my books are now being republished as B format, which is basically a 5x8 inch book. So when you see your bookshelves, most of your books in the UK, here in the UK, will be B format. So that's another phrase. World rights is when your publisher sells your books globally. And an ISBN is a number that you need to identify your book for bookshops, for libraries, and you buy those before you publish. They are from Nielsen's in the UK, and I think it's Bowser's in the US. They're sold in each individual country, so wherever you're watching from, you would need to look up your own ISBN distributor, if you like. Traditional publishers will have their own, but as an indie author, if you wanted to independently publish, you would need to buy your own ISBNs, because they identify you as holding the rights to your own book, and they help your book to it's the number you see on the barcode as well on the back of the book. So that's ISBN number. And the last one I can think of is an elevator pitch. So you've probably heard this phrase, and I use it as a great exercise when I'm doing my writing workshops actually. So I'll get my my students to write their own elevator pitch. So imagine you're getting into a lift on floor 10, and you've got the head of Penguin has just walked in and is asking you about your book, and you've got until floor 10, until you hit the bottom reception, to tell them about your book. Elevator pitch. You've got seconds to explain what your book is all about, where you would place it in the market to sell it, and the kind of people that you would want to attract as readers. So it's a great exercise to have a go at, a really great exercise to have a go at. And I would urge you, take it on as a challenge, maybe do a little bit of an action piece after you've finished watching this episode, and write your own elevator pitch, just so that you're ready and raring to go if a big publisher walks into the lift while you're in there. If you can think of any other abbreviations or publishing writing jargon that I haven't managed to mention today, and you think that we would need to know that, please feel free to drop them into the comments. We can all learn more together. If there's anything that you want to know more about, then do also drop that into the comments as well. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. But in the meantime, happy writing.